Do you hear that? The transfer deadline clock is ticking. The MLS expansion clock also ticking. I've got an extended US men's national team tree metaphor for you, for which I apologise in advance, and a David v Goliath showdown in the FA Cup 5th round. Good morning. It's Tuesday, January 31st. I'm Daryl Grove and you're listening to The Goalmouth. Okay, fax machines at the ready. It's transfer deadline day. That's right, today is the final day that European teams can make desperate signings in a last-minute attempt to either save their season, best of luck, Big Sam, or secure their grip on a trophy. Here's looking at you, Antonio Conte. No big deadline day moves at time of recording, which is one of the many reasons I miss Harry Redknapp. But I'm sure there'll be plenty of action as the clock ticks closer to England's 11 p.m. cutoff. I've included a link to the Guardian's transfer tracker in today's Goalmouth email, so give that a click and you'll be up to date. Here in the United States, it's also deadline day, but in a way that can only happen in the weird and exciting parallel universe of Major League Soccer. I promise I'm not making this up. Today is genuinely MLS expansion bid deadline day, with would-be ownership groups from cities around the US having until 5 p.m. Eastern to formally submit their proposal for a franchise to MLS. According to the MLS website, there are only 2 confirmed bids right now. One from the Tampa Bay Rowdies, who literally delivered a patch of grass to Don Garber when submitting their bid. I'm not making this up. And the other from a group in San Diego, which suddenly has a sports team-shaped hole in its city. The cities who left it until the last minute to finish their homework include, in alphabetical order, so no one gets upset with me, Cincinnati, Detroit, Indianapolis, Nashville, Phoenix, Raleigh, Sacramento, San Antonio, and St. Louis. May the odds be ever in your favour. Sticking with the US, yesterday Brooks Peck gave you his somewhat pessimistic report on the men's national team's 0-0 draw with Serbia. I'm a little more optimistic about how that game went. Okay, there were no goals, but I saw some seeds being planted and maybe even a few seedlings sprouting through the gridiron-marked turf of San Diego, and I predict we'll see some fully developed foliage when the US plays Jamaica in Chattanooga on Friday. We might even see a mighty oak tree by the time the US gets back to World Cup qualifying against Honduras in March. But before I take this botanical metaphor too far, here are a couple of little updates for Friday's game. The US will be without Jermaine Jones, who's been released back to the LA Galaxy for pre-season, and also without Sasha Kljestan, who's gone back to New York because his wife is about to give birth. That leaves just 21 players heading to Chattanooga, which likely means more minutes for the lively Sebastian Lletget, I really enjoyed his debut, and more playmaking time for everyone's favourite brightly booted Jurgen Klinsmann subtweeter, Benny Feilhaber. My fearless Goalmouth prediction is that either Lletget or Feilhaber scores against Jamaica on Friday night, and the goal is so good that even Brooks is impressed, and he'll have to describe it in detail on next Monday's Goalmouth. Come on guys, I'll be rooting for you. Sorry. I'll close us out with a trip back to England, where balls were jiggled about, pairings were made, and everyone decided on your place or mine. That's right, it was the draw for the FA Cup 5th round, or to transatlantically translate, the round of 16. The mighty Wolverhampton Wanderers, that's my guys, will host Chelsea, which I'm going to pretend is not utterly terrifying. But the biggest David versus Goliath game of all is non-league Sutton United hosting Arsenal Football Club at their tiny Gander Green Lane stadium. The game is in February, so here's looking forward to some of that famous magic of the Cup. By which I mean Arsene Wenger making most of his first team magically disappear, but still comfortably winning the game with his reserves. Before I go, a reminder that subscribing via iTunes and or leaving us a review is a great way to help us grow the Goalmouth. I particularly enjoyed a recent 5-star review in which NCL03 simply states, and I quote, "Daryl Grove is the best Goalmouth host," end quote. And there's definitely no other information in that review to suggest NCL03 means the exact opposite. Period. Okay, there might be, but you'll have to go find us on iTunes to see what it is. That's all from me. George Qureshi will be with you tomorrow, so I'll leave you with today's Goalmouth top tip. If a tree falls in a forest and Harry Redknapp isn't there to sign Nico Kranjčar, then is it really transfer deadline day?